Imagine a world where the battle between good and evil isn't just a story told in hushed tones around a campfire, but a stark reality that invades the lives of ordinary people, where dark forces lurk not just in the shadows, but behind the eyes of your neighbor, your friend, or even your family member. What's up, Boo Crew? I'm Selena Spooky Boo, and today we are going to be talking about real-life exorcisms.
This stuff's too real for me.
Yeah, been to
I
one.
want none of this in my life.
Been to one. It's weird, bro. It's weird. My tea is blue today. We're in a good mood. Let's get into it.
About that tea, though, what happens when you put lemon in it?
If you put lemon in this tea, it turns the blue tea purple, and I'm all over it.
Love it.
From the quiet streets of small towns to the bustling lanes of metropolitan cities, these stories traverse the globe, revealing encounters with the diabolical that have left communities shaken and faiths profoundly tested. Coming in at number 1, we have Roland Doe. That's a funny name. Roland Doe.
It's like Schitt's Creek, Roland shit.
Yeah, Roland shit and Jacqueline shit.
Yeah.
The enduring fear that evil spirits can seize control over humans has haunted humanity's nightmares throughout history. This ancient terror, deeply ingrained in the human psyche, has given to the rise to numerous horrifying tales and rituals aimed at banishing such spirits, a practice known as the exorcism. This fear is vividly captured in the spine-chilling 1973 horror film, The Exorcist, directed by William.
Hold on a
Narrative.
sec. You said directed by William. You got to say his last name.
No, I can't. Friedkin?
Friedkin. Friedkin.
William Friedkin. As one of the most successful horror films ever made, The Exorcist not only gripped audiences with its chilling narrative, but also drew critical acclaim for its powerfully terrifying portrayal of demonic possession. However, not everyone is aware that the roots of this film stretch deep into the soil of true events, making the story behind it just as eerie as the film itself.
What was your favorite part of The Exorcist?
The projectile vomit.
Oh, that was great.
Or like the head.
Oh, the head's so spooky.
What about you?
What is it about turning heads, even in modern day horror movies?
Because you can't do it.
Oh.
Because you know your neck hurts. We're older now. Our real life story begins in the late 1940s with a young boy known under the alias Roland Doe, who was mourning the death of his beloved aunt. She had introduced Roland to the mythical world of spiritualism and taught him how to use the Ouija board. But after her passing, a series of strange events and occurrences began to unfold in Roland's home. It started with eerie noises, dripping sounds, and scratching that seemed to emerge from the walls. Initially, Roland's family thought that these were benign messages from the aunt, trying to communicate from the beyond. They responded by reaching out, dum-dums.
Don't do
Leave
that.
it alone!
Do not reach out to this
Don't.
type of spirit.
Not if it's scratching, like, come on.
No.
At least it's a raccoon. Hoping to make contact with her and perhaps help her find peace. Little did they know that their actions would only invite darker forces into their lives. Guys, I'm going to say it now, I'm going to say it again. If you don't know what you're doing, don't get into it.
Don't.
Research. Google 4 things before you do anything like this, okay?
You could literally just scare yourself and not even be haunted.
Yeah.
Just haunt yourself.
Haunt
You
yourself.
don't even know it.
Haunt yourself.
Don't do this.
The situation escalated quickly. Roland reported hearing footsteps in his room at night, disturbing his sleep. And each morning, he found fresh scratch marks on his mattress. Whoa, like through it? That's crazy. Before long, these mysterious scratches began to appear on his body as well.
Ugh.
As supernatural attacks grew more intense, the family realized that they were dealing with something far beyond their understanding.
Actual like scratching and actual things showing up on the human body, that always freaks me out.
Oh, that's terrifying, especially if it's in threes, because then it's mocking the Trinity.
Like, I'd love to have that investigated in situations. Like, if we could have proof of a scratch showing up without something happening, if it got caught on video or something.
You just like watch it happen?
Yeah, that's like, that would be so cool.
Terrifying. Look at my snazzy new frames. As you guys know, I spend a violent amount of time on the computer for my job, so when I needed some blue light glasses, I knew exactly where to go. Warby Parker. Now, they design all their glasses and frames in-house, and these are so lightweight, and honestly, they're built to last. I'm obsessed with these. Simply, the craftsmanship is insane, and I love the combo of this black and gold. These glasses just feel really unique, which honestly kind of feels like me. Warby Parker has a virtual way to try on glasses. You can get glasses or sunglasses, and you get to virtually try them on at home. But hey, maybe that's not your thing, and that's great, because guess what? Warby Parker has over 250 retail locations across the US and Canada. So you can try on from the comfort of your own home or out in the world. Warby Parker is your one-stop shop for stylish prescription eyewear, contacts, and eye exams. Why make 3 stops? Warby Parker glasses start at only $95 and include prescription lenses with anti-reflective scratch-resistant coatings, and their eye exams start at only $85. And don't forget, they have free shipping and 30-day returns. So check out warbyparker.com, and thank you to Warby Parker for sponsoring today's show. They called upon the local minister, who spent a night observing the unnerving phenomenon. Convinced that this was no ordinary haunting, he recommended that the family seek help from the Jesuits. Taking his advice, the family embraced Catholicism. Am I saying that right?
Catholicism.
Catholicism? What did I say?
Catholicism.
I should know these words.
I mean, you kind of sounded it out, not too bad.
But now it's crazy because I never knew Catholicism was literally just like being Catholic. Good to know. Cool.
Yeah.
Hoping that spiritual strength and religious rituals might protect them, they attempted to have Roland baptized, but the ceremony provoked violent outbursts from the boy, displaying a ferocity that shocked everyone present. With few options left, the family decided to move, hoping a new home may free them from the grip of these disturbances. But the spirits, or whatever dark forces had latched onto Roland, followed them. Furniture was found overturned, religious icons desecrated, and Roland's mattress shook as if in the grasp of an unseen force. Can you imagine just laying in bed and it starts vibrating? I'd be like, free massage.
Haunt me, please. This feels great.
My back hurts. At their wits' end, the family turned to a more drastic measure: exorcism. Father Raymond J. Bishop and Father William S. Bowdern, were among the clergy called upon to confront the entity possessing Roland. Father Bowdern, in an attempt to shield the boy, placed a crucifix under his pillow, which led to even more violent reactions. The household was thrown into chaos, with objects flying and holy items being forcefully displaced. The battle to save Roland took place over several grueling sessions, conducted in the sterile environments of Georgetown University Hospital and the Alexan Brother Hospital in Missouri. Okay, wait, can you imagine? You're going to the hospital to visit your sick little nanny, and you walk by a room and there are priests yelling and throwing holy water at a kid whose head is spinning around in circles.
Yeah, no, I would go to a different hospital.
No, bye.
I would take my nanny out of there and we'd be on the run.
Immediately no.
That was the thought I had in this too. Like, religiously in these movies, it works for Hollywood because it's always like Catholic and it's always like that. But like, it'd be cool to see other cultures' versions of exorcisms. Yeah,
I would want to see a witches one, like some Wiccan ones. That'd be really cool. Throughout these exorcisms, Roland exhibited terrifying behavior. He vomited, urinated, and spat, all while speaking in tongues and manifesting a voice so deep and alien it chilled to the bone. One of the most harrowing moments occurred when one of the priests, Walter Halloran, had his nose broken by an unforeseen force during one of the rituals. That is insane. After numerous intense sessions, the clergy finally declared the exorcism a success. Roland was freed from the malevolent force that had taken a hold of him, and, according to those involved, he went on to lead a normal, uneventful life. The detailed accounts of these events were meticulously recorded by Father Bishop and later shared with William Peter Blatty, who transformed them into his novel, The Exorcist. Blatty's novel captured the imagination of the public and was soon turned into a blockbuster film that continues to haunt the dreams of viewers to this day.
Could you imagine if people were just bored back then?
And they just started doing crazy stuff like this?
They just started acting like demons?
What the truth is, I 100% believe in demons, angels, and stuff. I have been to like a quasi exorcist. I've seen it. I feel like I would go into that room and I could be able to feel if this person was just like severely mentally ill or putting on a show.
Yeah.
But I've also like seen horrifying things manifest.
Yeah.
But I think like for the Catholic priest to have to get in there, like, is it an ego thing? Or they're like, let's just do this, and then people will think we're, you know what I mean?
Yeah, like what's going through the priest's head as well, and are they just performing? And that's another thought I had earlier. Like, how deep does a priest's beliefs have to be, and how much do they have to like study not just God, but like demons and angels and stuff like that to really be somebody that would feel comfortable and want to perform an exorcist and feel confident doing it?
Amen.
It's crazy. It's kind of mind-boggling, the things that have came up through the generations. I don't know.
Number 2, we have George Lukens. So that isn't an isolated incident, and the story of George Luckins also adds to the mix. On May 31st, 1778, the Reverend Joseph Easterbrook, victor of the now deserted Temple Church in Bristol, England, found himself drawn to what would become the most extraordinary and chilling cases of his career. This bizarre journey began with Sarah Baber, a parishioner who encountered a distressed man in Yatton, a town she had recently visited. The man, a former tailor in his 40s named George Luckins, was suffering from an inexplicable fit that captivated and horrified any onlooker. According to Miss Baber, during these episodes, Luckins would sing and scream in an array of sounds, some barely human. He cursed vehemently and claimed that no doctor could alleviate his suffering. Miss Baber, familiar with Luckins and his formerly unremarkable life, was stunned by this transformation. The local community, too, was at a loss. Medical experts were baffled, and the helpless Luckins, bewildered by his own condition, believed his affliction began after a so-called divine slap during a mummer's play, an incident some speculated might be linked to intoxication. So that's interesting. Like, it's people, there's so many cases of people who did way too much LSD or did way too much mushrooms, and they're changed forever mentally.
Yep. Mm-hmm. This is in the 1700s, though, right?
Yeah. Could be the weed again.
Yeah, I mean,
think
it
of, like,
could
the
be
weed.
the weed again, like ergot. Yeah, like.
Hey.
Also, like, it's interesting because I think we can tell with some people, like, if somebody really knows the person, like, you know me.
Yep.
If I started acting like that, you would know it's not an act.
I'd call the Catholic
like,
priest.
I'm so vanilla and not like theater that I couldn't even act like that for the long term. It would just drain so much energy out of me.
It's just not you. You literally couldn't be that person.
Yeah.
But say if like one of my old friends did it, I would be like, this is a show.
Yeah. Yeah.
The fits were not just medical anomalies. They were theatrical displays of barking, twitching, and demonic declarations. He was possessed by 7 demons.
I couldn't even do that long enough.
No.
I would just start bursting out laughing.
Where's your Oscar? Luckins himself insisted that only the collective effort of 7 clergymen could exorcise these spirits. Thus, driven by a mix of concern and curiosity, Mrs. Baber sought the help of Reverend Easterbrook. Easterbrook arranged for Luckins to be brought to Bristol for an examination. The spectacle that unfolded was as astonishing as it was terrifying. Clerics who witnessed Luckins were struck by the horrific sounds and convulsions he exhibited, convinced that they were dealing with a genuine case of demonic possession rather than mere insanity. Well, I guess we got 7 men in a room. They're going to be able to tell what's going on here. So this is interesting.
Yeah.
Easterbrook sought clerical reinforcements for an exorcism, a task complicated by the skepticism of many of his peers. Despite intentions for discretion, news of Luckins' condition leaked to the public through a letter to the Bristol Gazette. Dubbed the Yatton Demoniac, Luckins' case quickly became a sensation, turning what was meant to be a private exorcism into a public spectacle. Crowds gathered, eavesdropping on the dramatic scenes unfolding inside the vestry room of the Temple Church. Scenes so sensational that they were soon sensationalized in the street papers, akin to an 18th century viral post. To counteract wild rumors, Easterbrook and his colleagues published an official account of the exorcism. According to the report, Luckins' agitations shifted dramatically during the ritual. His body convulsed, his voice morphed into a deep, ominous tone, accusing and mocking the clerics. Despite the grotesque blasphemies and threats, the clerics persisted, and ultimately, Luckins cried out, "Blessed Jesus!" The seizures ceased, and he thanked the clerics, insisting that he was cured, a claim that was substantiated by reciting the Lord's Prayer flawlessly. However, this resolution did not silence skeptics. Following the publication of the story, some who knew Luckins suggested the entire episode was a hoax. There's exactly what you said there. People knew him and said this was probably fake. Exacerbated by his skills in ventriloquism. Ha!
Yeah, right?
Yeah, and his propensity for hypochondria, the debate over the nature of Luckins' condition, whether supernatural or medical, genuine or fraudulent, spurred a national discussion. Clerics and physicians debated his case, with some attributing his symptoms to epilepsy or other disorders rather than demonic possession. Okay, so here's one that I'm not going to believe then. Because this is one where people are literally saying, this dude is a ventriloquist, he's weird, he's crazy. If he's a ventriloquist, he's a performer. This is going to get him more time on stage. He can tell people he was possessed.
Yeah. Something else interesting here is this could still be some kind of demonic possession or like mental illness in a different way, like how we talk sometimes, how it can run through family lineages.
Mm-hmm.
Like he has to be a little disturbed to do this and pull this off and feel okay, like causing this much trauma just for his personal gain.
Yep.
So in itself, there's like a possession behind the fake possession.
You know, I think what happens here, Adam, the message to say is eventually that family inner trauma just builds up and someone needs an exorcism.
Yeah.
Stung by accusations of gullibility and deceit, Easterbrook later penned a
treatise?
I
don't know what that word is.
Penned a letter in 1788 defending the exorcism and attempting to clear both his and Luckin's names. Yet the cloud of controversy never fully lifted, and Luckins himself, after a moment of fame, faded into obscurity. He lived out his days in Yatton, struggling with poverty and chronic illness until his death in 1805, as reported by the Bristol Mirror. Yeah, all right.
It's just, that's another form of mental illness in itself. And
I'm mentally ill, man.
Right? When we talk about angels and demons, we're not saying they're specifically angels and demons. We're giving the thing in that realm that we don't understand a label that people understand.
Yeah.
So we're not sitting here saying these are angels and demons and it's all Christian, theology explained like that. It just could be anything, and this is how we're explaining it.
Yep. Oh my god, what is this name? Gottlieb
Gottlieb.
Number 3, Gottlieb. Oh.
Titus?
Dittus?
I like your titus. Sorry, Gottlieb.
Similarly, in the quiet German town of the 1840s, the tale of Gottlieb unfolded.
I'm sure there's a German way to say that.
Oh, yeah.
We're just
I'm gonna butcher
this.
We are we're demonic on this one.
Yeah.
A story so harrowing it seems to leap from the pages of a gothic novel. Let's call her Gotti. We're gonna call her Gotti.
Yeah.
Gotti, along with her siblings, moved into a small, eerie apartment following the death of their parents. Aww. Little did they know that their new home would soon become the stage for a chilling spectacle of supernatural disturbances and demonic possession. From the very first day in their new residence, odd occurrences began to plague the Dittus family. It all started with Gotti, known in her community as a devoutly pious girl, experiencing a violent fit while praying at her dining table. Okay, so right now we got a kid who's full of grief, okay? Grief manifests in wild ways. Could it be demonic? Yeah. Could this just be grief? Maybe. This event marked the beginning of a series of inexplicable illnesses and paranormal activities that would torment her for years. The house itself seemed to protest their presence with incessant creaks, bangs echoing through the rooms of all hours, as if the building itself seemed possessed. As the disturbances grew, the family's plight worsened, slipping from what was known as paranormal terms as the infestation stage to oppression. Then, the once vibrant and healthy Gotti was now frequently ill, her condition mystifying and unrelenting. Desperate for help, they turned to John and Christoph Blumhardt, a local Lutheran pastor with a reputation for his stirring sermons with strong faith. Blumhardt initially met with Gotti when she was hospitalized for severe facial infection. Ew. During his visit, he noticed her peculiar reactions, avoiding eye contact and reflexively unfolding her hands whenever he began to pray. These unsettling signs led Blumhardt to keep his distance after initially deciding he could not help her. However, as the hauntings in their home intensified, Gotti's siblings sought him out once again, desperate for intervention. The manifestations at the Dittus home had become terrifyingly vivid. Glowing orbs darted around Gotti's room at night, disembodied voices filled the air, and an apparition of a deceased village woman cradling a dead child appeared repeatedly to Gotti, whispering chilling messages. The spectral visitor, Gotti claimed, was an evil presence stirring fears and warnings that left the family sleepless and scared. Blumhardt, moved by the family's plight and convinced of the malignant forces at work, returned to confront the growing darkness. Shortly thereafter, strange artifacts were discovered hidden behind the stove. Salt, chalk, bones, coins wrapped in soot-covered paper, suggesting sinister rituals had been performed there. Blumhardt burned these items in hope of cleansing the home, but the paranormal activity only escalated. I don't believe in burning spooky things. Don't.
No.
Salt grave. Salt grave.
That's a ritual in itself.
Salt grave.
Yep.
The situation reached a critical point when loud, inexplicable noises pervaded the house day and night. The footsteps and banging that seemed to target Gotti during an exhaustive investigation. More unsettling items were unearthed behind the floorboards.
Ugh.
No concrete source of the disturbances would ever be found.
Could you imagine buying a house and moving in, and you just don't know for years that there's like ritualistic things like buried all in your house and around your property, and
We
like
found my name
crazy
upstairs.
shit went on there. Yeah, your name was upstairs.
Kids did live here. I think there was just a kid with my
Yeah,
name.
it was in the treehouse too.
Was it?
Yeah, wasn't it?
Oh.
Celine, right?
That one was Celine. This one was Selena.
Oh, okay.
That one was like Celene. This one's Celena. So it's like not my
Okay.
actual name, but really
Okay.
close.
Someone was already here. That was your name. Maybe they're ritual.
How cool would that have been to hang up there as a kid?
Yeah.
Yeah. We are in a barn, if you're wondering. Tragedy struck one Sunday after church when Gotti was found unconscious in her bed, her body unnaturally red as if burned from within. Upon awakening, she recounted a terrifying encounter with the ghostly woman, claiming that the spirit's malevolence overwhelmed her into unconsciousness. Determined to rid the family of this curse, Blumhart moved them to a new house, hoping a change in environment would dispel the dark forces. However, the evil followed them, and Gotti's condition got worse. She began experiencing violent convulsions and trance-like states, her body contorting in agony as she spoke of demonic visions. Blumhart's resolve hardened in the face of such relentless evil. He stayed by Gotti's side, praying as she battled through her possession. Over time, she exhibited signs of multiple demonic entities within her. Led by the spirit of the woman that she kept seeing, a murderer and practitioner of dark magic, condemned to a tormented afterlife. The climax of this nightmare came as Gotti began manifesting physical signs of torment, vomiting bizarre objects like nails, shoe buckles, and even animals. Her siblings, too, began to show signs of possession, adding to the chaos and fear that gripped the family, throwing up nails and animals.
Bro.
And shoe buckles.
Could you just imagine you're eating all that stuff? That's
There is
like
a weird-
the vomiting is one thing, but you were eating these things.
There's a weird mental condition that makes you eat weird stuff. I remember learning about that years ago.
Well, what's that show that used to be on TV? There was like on A&E, the My Strange Addiction.
My Strange Addiction. Yeah.
Yes. I'm
There are
sure
some
that was
people like
happening
this.
there. People were eating weird things.
After years of relentless spiritual warfare, Blumhart's efforts finally bore fruit. Though, through continuous prayer and unwavering faith, he was able to free Gotti and her siblings from the clutches of the demonic. The family, once tormented by unseen forces, found peace at last, their lives reclaimed from the shadows that had enveloped them. Gotti's ordeal was later traced back to her childhood, to a sinister pledge she made with her cousin that bound her to an eternal curse. I believe it.
Kids need to be so careful.
Dude, I have talked about this from the beginning. If you guys watch my Salem series, I made a pact with something really dark when I was a kid, and it's actually come to play in our life recently, which I was like, is this a thing? Could it still be a thing?
I doubt it, but who knows?
Who knows, man?
I don't know.
How
do you know?
I've tried to free myself from that pact forever. But this story, this is one I believe.
Yeah.
It seems more believable than the other one. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Next up, we have number 4. We have Sierra Germana Cell.
Clara Germana.
What did I call her?
Selly.
Sierra?
Yeah.
It looks like an eye. Okay, we're gonna just call her Sierra. I mean Claire. Clara. We're not doing the rest of her name because I can't do it. In the year 1906, within the walls of St. Michael's Mission School in Natal, South Africa, a disturbing confession shook the foundation of the community. Clara, a devout student, revealed to Father Erasmus Horner that she had made a pact with the devil. God damn it, little girls, stop it!
this shit. Man, kids are literally the cause of half our demonic.
I swear, I was a kid
possessions.
and I was talking to the devil
You
through a
just
Ouija
don't
board.
take that shit serious, right?
No, because you're a kid and you're like,
Yeah.
nothing can hurt
this ain't
me.
real. Look it. I'm just in Earth and there's nothing beyond this. I mean, a lot of people believe that, but
Yeah.
not I.
Born in 1890 and orphaned as an infant, Clara had been raised under the care of nuns at this very school, her life woven deeply into the fabric of the church from a tender age. Clara had always been perceived as an ordinary girl by her peers and the nuns. Her sudden confession was both shocking and inexplicable. Initially, her claims were met with skepticism. It wasn't long before her behavior began to alarm those around her. On August 20th, her situation escalated dramatically in a display that turned the blood of onlookers cold. Clara tore at her clothes, growled inhumanly, and conversed with invisible entities. In a desperate plea, she begged Sister, "Please call Father. I must confess and tell everything. But quick, or Satan will kill me. He has me in his power. Nothing is blessed with me. I have thrown away all the medals you gave me." Her tormented words hinted at a cruel betrayal by the devil, who had promised her days of glory only to cast her into torment. As she argued with the demon possessing her, the situation grew more dire. According to one of the nuns' accounts, the sounds Clara made were unlike any creature known to man or nature, described as a chorus of wild beasts, an orchestra of the damned. The nuns observed with increasing horror as Clara showed signs of extraordinary and unnatural abilities. She spoke in languages she had never learned and displayed clairvoyant insights into the personal lives of those around her. Her strength became insane, and she overpowered grown men with ease and levitated 5 feet off the ground, defying gravity as her community watched in stunned silence.
Okay, this one's cool. That is what we need for some real proof.
We should turn this into a movie.
Right?
We should turn this into a movie.
Yeah.
Guys, I don't think there's any copyright on history. Clara's interactions with religious symbols were particularly violent. She reacted with physical revulsion to holy water, crosses, and Bibles, even when she could not see them. Reports circulated that she transformed into a serpentine creature, slithering on the ground and leaving bite marks on a nun who bore a distinctive pattern of snake fangs. This is so over the top.
Oh,
and
yeah.
I love it.
This has got to be a story.
I love it!
What year was this one?
1890.
Oh, yeah, totally. This is like a novel from 1890.
I need to write this into a book. Despite the intensity of her possession, Clara managed to receive Holy Communion and confessed her sins, suggesting that the demonic forces within her were battling against the rites of the church she grew up in. The situation reached a critical juncture when Father Horner, alongside Reverend Mensetti, was authorized by the church to perform an exorcism. On September 11th, oh damn, that's a weird historical date, I swear, the ritual began and continued into the night, marked by Clara's violent attempts to harm priests, including an instance where she tried to strangle one with his stole. The exorcism reached its peak when the demon inside Clara promised to leave her body, signaling its departure with her levitation in front of 170 witnesses in the chapel. Whoa.
Insane.
I feel like crazy things happened back when they couldn't be recorded, because like demons now are like, damn, they have fucking cameras.
Right?
This is all supposed
Can't
to be a
give
secret.
ourselves up, or it's just aliens messing with people.
Bro, you're making me stressed. After this harrowing display, Clara was declared free from the devil's grasp. However, the peace was short-lived. A year later, Clara confessed to another demonic pact, leading to a second exorcism. Clara! Clara!
Man, she just can't chill.
I just said her name 3 times. Am I going to summon her like
Oh,
Beetlejuice?
no. Clara.
Just something falls over me. Fucking crazy. Clara confessed to another demonic pact, leading to a second exorcism. This time, after the demon was expelled, a foul odor permeated the air, marking the end of spiritual disturbances surrounding her. Or was it a fart? The aftermath of these events left Clara deeply ashamed and eager for oblivion regarding her past ordeals. She sought forgiveness and dedicated her remaining years to humility, her life thereafter shrouded in mystery. After her death, Clara was cremated, and the location of her remains became yet another secret that she took with her.
Clara is metal as f***.
Clara, we need to make a movie about you. Why has this, like, if that's like a true story, why has that not been a movie?
Right?
Like, it takes me back to Immaculate, kind of a vibe, but not.
Yeah.
Now we have number 5, Anna Eklund. The enigmatic tale of Anna Eklund is one draped in the dark veils of secrecy and spiritual warfare, echoing the complexities of trials of a life overshadowed by demonic possession. Her story, extensively documented in the annals of the Catholic exorcism rites, emerged in 1935, offering a harrowing glimpse into one of the church's most extreme spiritual interventions. Anna Eklund's early years in Wisconsin are shrouded in mystery, with her life prior to 1928 painted with only the faintest strokes. Born around 1882, Anna was a devout Catholic from a young age, despite the turbulent and somewhat sinister family environment that was shaped by her father, Jacob, a man marred with his disdain for the church and rumored incestuous advances toward Anna, poor thing, cast a long shadow over her childhood. His companion, Mina, allegedly a practitioner of witchcraft and possibly Anna's aunt by a convoluted familial tie, added further to the sinister aura that enveloped Anna's early years. As Anna transitioned from childhood into her teenage years, disturbing changes began to manifest. By the age of 14, she started exhibiting aversions to religious symbols and places she once frequented with reverence. Her behavior escalated to expressing revolting and blasphemous thoughts, alarming those around her. It was at this juncture that the father was first called upon to perform an exorcism in 1908, marking the beginning of Anna's long and tumultuous battle with forces believed to be beyond this world. Despite the apparent successes of this initial exorcism, peace was short-lived for Anna. Her father's death did little to alleviate the spiritual disturbances that plagued her, as her symptoms intensified. Lashing out at religious figures, destroying sacred symbols, and hearing tormenting inner voices, Anna sought help from various physicians. This is sounding kind of like schizophrenia to me, like unmedicated schizophrenia. Well, she grew up in a terrible environment where her dad hurt her, so what are you going to expect? Anna sought help from various physicians only to be deemed physically healthy. Thus, her journey led her back to her spiritual sanctuaries of the church. They were baffled. Counselors noted her sudden fluency in languages she had never learned and a peculiar awareness of blessed objects. The spiritual crisis culminated in 1928 when the church once again formally recognized Anna as being under demonic influence. The father, now a seasoned exorcist, took charge of her case for a second time, leading to one of the most well-documented exorcisms in the history of the Catholic Church. This intense spiritual ordeal was chronicled in the pamphlet Begone, Satan by Carl Vogel, intended as an educational piece for seminars. Anna was covertly transported to a convent in Erling, Iowa, to avoid public spectacle and allow for a focused exorcism away from prying eyes. The challenges began immediately upon her arrival. Even the journey was fraught with supernatural interference, such as mechanical failures. How? This is the early 1900s. I'm kidding. The physical attacks by Anna were marked in their progress. Once at the convent, Anna's presence was a profound disturbance. Her reactions to blessed food and her violent outbursts during the rituals unnerved the seasoned nuns assisting with the exorcism. The rituals performed by the father were grueling, spanning several days of intense prayer and confrontation with the demonic entities that claimed to inhabit her. Anna's physical and verbal manifestations during these sessions were terrifying. She spoke in multiple languages, levitated, and exhibited strength that belied her frail appearance. Throughout this harrowing ordeal, it was revealed that Anna was believed to be possessed by multiple demons, including the spirits of her father and Mina, along infamous figures such as Judas, Beelzebub, and Lucifer. I'm gonna have to Google Beelzebub. I've heard that before.
Yeah.
You know what's really crazy? I was gonna call my puppet guy Beelzebub.
Really?
Not gonna do
Maybe
that.
not a good idea.
He has horns too. That's scary.
Yeah.
The exorcism sessions were exhaustive, requiring breaks to allow both Anna and those involved to recover and prepare for further engagement. The battle for Anna's soul was not just a series of rituals, but a profound test of faith and endurance for all involved. It concluded with a temporary cease of the demonic activity, giving Anna brief periods of normalcy where she could open her eyes and interact without the overshadowing presence of the entities that had tormented her.
It's hard to just say that this is mental illness that I didn't understand back then.
Well, this is one thing, especially that I've learned working on the cases that I had and doing the things that I've done, is that when horrible things happen to a person and your energy level is low, your doors are open. Because those entities and those low-level beings are attracted to people that don't have high vibrations.
Right. So your door may always be open.
What was that?
What was that spooky stuff going on in the background there? We're going to England.
We are. I'm so excited.
Right.
The home of tea!
Yep.
Next up, we have number 6, Michael Taylor. Ooh, this one's more modern. What I'm finding really interesting about all of this is I have not heard of any of these.
No.
Until we started like the research thing for this, and I think that's gonna be interesting for people, and that should be the title for this. Exorcisms you didn't know about.
Yeah.
In 1974, in the small town of Ossett, Yorkshire, Michael Taylor, a 31-year-old father of 5 and husband to Christine Taylor, seemed to embody the quintessential family man. Neighbors described him as mild-mannered and generally kind. Despite the occasional depressive episodes, which his family attributed to a back injury that hampered his ability to secure full-time employment, this ailment not only affected his work life, but also cast a shadow over his personal life, contributing to bouts of withdrawal and isolation. Despite living within a few miles of multiple churches, the Taylor family was not particularly devout, which stood out in their highly religious community. A turning point came when a friend, concerned about Michael's depression, attributed it to spiritual causes and encouraged him to join a local prayer group led by Marie Robinson. Her gentle, old-time religious approach initially seemed to resonate with Michael, drawing him deeper into the group's activities, including sessions where members were exorcised of demons through what they claimed was the power of God. Okay, so we're getting like a suburban area together of people who are like, you have a demon, you have a demon, you have a demon. That's what I'm getting so far. As Michael became increasingly involved, he started attending private meetings with Marie. I'm kidding. Where they would engage in continuous religious rituals believed to ward off evil influences of the full moon. Okay. These sessions lasting over 8 hours at a time. This sounds like a rendezvous. It really does.
What were they really doing?
Yes. This led to rumors within the prayer group that Michael had developed romantic feelings for Marie, further complicating his already strained home life. His absence at home and his changed demeanor when around Marie did not go unnoticed by Christine, who grew suspicious of the true nature of these meetings. Her concerns reached a breaking point during one prayer session when she publicly confronted Michael, triggering a violent outburst from him. In the midst of the congregation, Michael attacked Marie both verbally and physically.
Whoa, buddy.
Damn. An altercation so severe that it ended with the congregation as restraining him. Marie later recounted the terrifying change in Michael's demeanor, describing him as bestial and wild, and she believed that it could only be countered by invoking the name of Jesus. Michael later...
honey, I'm sorry.
Yeah.
But Jesus ain't gonna save you here. This man does not love you anymore.
He needs the mic. This is what's happening. I bet he's gonna be like, no, there's a demon in me, and that's why I was like this.
Yep.
But no, you're a man. Michael later claimed to have no memory of the incident, of course, and though he received absolution from Marie at a subsequent meeting, the event had already sown the seeds of doubt and concern among the community. The local vicar, alarmed by Michael's behavior, declared him to be suffering from demonic possession, saying that there should be an exorcism. This led to a dramatic and grueling 8-hour session at the St. Thomas Church in Gobber, overseen by Father Peter Vincent and Reverend Raymond Smith. Along with the prayer group, the exorcism was intense. Michael was restrained, convulsed violently, spat, and was even soaked with holy water and gagged with a crucifix in an attempt to expel demons. They shoved a crucifix down his throat.
This sounds like...
BDSM.
Yeah. You went there.
The sexy god.
I was going there.
Yep.
We went there.
The exorcism, however, was not completed. Exhausted, the priests halted the session, leaving 3 demons they identified as murder, madness, and violence allegedly still within him. Despite the dire warning, Michael and Christine were sent home to prepare for a continuation of the exorcism.
Okay, so...
let's take a break, go home, let's watch some Family Feud.
This is how this could have played out, and this would make a very good book or movie.
Yeah.
Michael planned this all from the start.
Yeah.
Michael knows exactly what's going on all the time.
Don't give a book idea away.
Michael loves this whole situation,
yes.
And this is his kink.
Oh my gosh. And in the end, and it's like a sex party. Okay.
Yeah, I
feel like we're going to see some really badly scripted porn after this. Somebody's watching it and they're going to make bad scripted porn.
It's probably out there.
Tragically, just an hour and 45 minutes later, Michael was found wandering the streets, naked and covered in blood. What? The horrific aftermath discovered in his home revealed a gruesome scene. Christine had been brutally murdered.
Oh.
Movie's getting better.
Yeah.
Her eyes and tongue removed and her face mutilated. The family dog was not spared either.
Okay, I apologize because this is getting very real.
It is.
And this is a very sad story.
Yep.
Michael, if you did plan this, you are extremely mentally ill.
Michael, rest in peace. Or is he dead? We're about to find out.
Yet.
Arrested and hospitalized, Michael showed no remorse for uttering cryptic words about the release and the destruction of evil. His trial painted a bleak picture of a man driven to the brink, not by supernatural forces, but by the intense psychological pressure and possible mental breakdown exacerbated by the prayers group practices. Described by the defense as a case of neurotics feeling neurosis. Neurotics feeding neurosis to a neurotic. Yeah, they were literally they were feeding the crazy in him. Or the evil.
Yeah.
We don't know.
Right.
Michael was acquitted by reason of insanity and
figured.
spent 4 years in a psychiatric care before being released.
Ooh.
What?
That's insane.
He's out. We need to get him on the show.
Right? This is a really
Is he
crazy
alive?
story. I apologize for mocking this story
Yeah.
a bit in the beginning because this is very sad. 2 people died, one being a dog, which is still very, very sad.
But do you
for
think
us.
we could talk to him maybe? Try and find him?
I mean, it would be interesting.
How old would he be now if he was in his 30? If he was 31 and 74, how old would he be?
50, he'd be like 80.
Damn, okay. I have this like weird thing, and I'm going to be level with you guys. I'm going to be super honest about mental health here. When I feel anxiety coming back, and I've been really clear ever since I was on Ozempic, my mental health has not been correct. Changed the hormones in my brain. But when my mental health gets really, really bad, I start to feel weird. And I feel like I see things or I hear things that aren't there. And I found out that is not schizophrenia at all. I don't have any touch of that in me. But it is something that people with like a lot of anxiety experience. But I've been told that and I understand that. But I could see people that deal with that running with it. Do you know what I mean?
Yep.
And thinking that it is demonic possession and feeding that bad mental health. Instead of trying to get better, they fall into, you know, the evil things that they see or hear.
Think about your beliefs too, like what you believe and how smart you are about the world around you, that you could easily be duped into your own mind, making you think that all these things are real.
But there's the same play on it. When I talk about when my mental health isn't good and I see and hear things, it's not like it's hard for me because I'm also a medium. I'm a clairvoyant person. I see and I hear spirit, which has been validated 400 million times. But did it not used to cause me so much more anxiety because I wasn't sure?
Absolutely.
But when I have anxiety, it's different. I think I hear something fall over that didn't, or I see things out of the corner of my eyes. But for me, I don't know. Maybe that is more malevolent vibe things.
Well, when
trying
you're
to enter
anxious,
my world.
like when you're anxious, your brain's literally vibrating at a different level. So like, is anxiety a form of your brain and your soul just being more open to the other side?
Yeah.
Are those things real, but you're just trying to pretend they're not, and it's the anxiety causing
You know
it?
what? That is so true. And I think the best way to end this episode today is to tell people something that we have learned that I find really, really interesting. Don't feed those things.
No.
And lie to yourself.
Yeah.
I have found the best way to help my mental health is be like, I feel great and I am happy.
It sounds so stupid.
It
You'll be
does.
so silly doing it. And we're not saying go do this. If you're not doing this, what the heck's wrong? It's very hard to do this if you're in a very depressed and bad state and it feels wrong and you want to stay in that state. We understand that. It's very, very hard situation.
But weirdly,
But literally, just go outside, put your bare feet in the ground, touch the grass. There's actually healing properties with that too. We won't get into today, but everybody has probably looked into grounding a little bit. But just smile, thank the universe for things, look around, be happy. It's going to feel so fake, but the more you fake it, the more it can become real.
When I have my bad anxiety, this man will rip me out of bed. He will put me on the grass and make me stare at the sun. But the truth is, I do that.
Okay, not stare at the sun.
No, but
off
in
to
the
the side of
vicinity.
it. Please do not go outside and stare at the sun.
The interesting truth is when I just decide to smile, make myself smile, like it tricks your brain. It lets endorphins off in your brain. You're making your brain happy by pretending it. Sometimes get delusional about it.
You have to be in the vibrations you want to be in.
Yeah.
And if you're in different ones, try your damnedest to crack yourself out of it, as hard as it is.
Amen. And with that, please don't get possessed. Don't talk to the devil. It's just not worth it. But guys, until next time, any closing words, my sir?
No, just blow those candles out so we can get out of here.
Stay spooky, Buku. From the quiet streets of small towns to the bustling lanes of Metropolitan Neapolitan ice cream. Yum.